Whatsoever you do against another you do against me. I stand not as a member of a dumb herd waiting for the predator to finish his work and leave the remainder to live another day. Rather, I know that I am no better or less blessed than any other person. My fate is set by the degree to which fortune does afford to me my safety and my health at any given time. I must protect others as I would myself and those that are most precious to me. I can only hope that others will learn the value and the wisdom of doing the same for me. Sandro speaks at a Lake Chautauqua seminar. August 1891. At this stage in their lives, Sandro and Hannah are fortunate to have most of their evenings and weekends to spend together at home. When they have the choice, they would rather be at home together. Hannah likes to discuss the future often, as it is her nature to plan. She likes to know that things have been made ready for when they are needed. She also enjoys speaking of a future that puts herself and Sandro together at the summer cottage on Oyster Bay. Hannah and Sandro imagined living again as the children they were when they first met. A time when Sandro was 30 and Hannah was 18 and the world was theirs to conquer. I don't know, it must have been a reflection from the gaslight I saw aflame, I think. But it was. Sandro replies softly but curtly. Well, the gaslight is out now, so it may have been a reflection from the street. Hannah avoids Sandro's gaze and asks him something about, do you know what is to come? Sandro pretends to have fallen asleep, unsure he is truly sleeping. Saturday morning. Sandro awakens to the sounds of Hannah downstairs in the kitchen, heating bath water. He turns to find that he is alone in the warm bed. Hannah has also put on the kettle for the morning tea. The pleasantly shrill note of tea coming up for the kettle tells him that Hannah has been working at the breakfast of tea and toast for about 15 minutes. Judging by the mix of aromas with odors, she is attending to a bit of laundry as well. She continues her long-established schedule. Sandro's sense of satisfaction is complete as he leans back into the warm sheets and begins to pull the heavy quilts back over himself. But no, he realizes that it's Saturday, which is a half day of work for him. He feels rather ambitious today and is looking forward to the walk to work. He enters the bath to complete his preparations to go out. Sandro speaks down the stairwell to Hannah. Odell, I require the bath. Yes, my dearest, is Hannah's response. Will you assist, please? Sandro informs her that he will be. Just one moment. They are playing the favorite game, which is a one-act play that is performed solely for the entertainment and satisfaction of the actors. They engage in this routine on days when they are feeling most relaxed and are enjoying the fact that they have each other as friends as well as for spouses. There is no real plot and the outcome is different for each enactment. The play is an unscripted, impromptu expression of impulsive whimsy that usually involves Sandro's best rendition of a somber male-dominant attitude and Hannah's equally fictitious submission to Sandro's every demand. For this morning the play lasts for only 10 minutes, and following the brief self-entertainment there is no pretending, as Hannah attends to Sandro with loving attention while she assists him to complete his preparations to go out in public. Hannah must also attend to herself and as she chooses her clothes for the day. She slides the wooden hangers apart to reveal the unworn afternoon dress that she had bought last year for her special presentation at Lake Chautauqua that was never to be, as her father died the Sunday before they were to leave for the seminar. As she notices the dress, she's taken back a year in her thoughts to a very different time. Her gaze is frozen on an unseen distance as she looks upon this dress and recalls her joyful anticipation, the events that were planned to occur the very next week. It was a rare honor for her to be invited to be one of the main presenters for the week. The Roosevelts and the Tafts were expected to be there, as well as a large number of reporters from New York and even a few from England. The dress has never been seen by Sandro. It is made with a pearl grey pattern satin with a black and white feather motif. Chantilly lace and chiffon trim set the dress apart from some of the plainer designs of current fashion. Multi-strand jet swag is applied on back of the bodice to complete the perfect look for Hannah. I will have to put this dress to use in spite of the memories. I may just donate it.
The founding Americans were fond of the chinoiserie style, which was familiar to many of them from their European homelands. In fact, travelers during the medieval period were known to have spread this Chinese-influenced style throughout most regions from the Mediterranean to the North Sea. By 1690, the ceramic designs of Dutch artisans clearly reflected chinoiserie influence as expressed upon elegant blue and white porcelains. In the colonies, well before 1760, it was common to find American homes of every economic class that contained furniture, cloth and other interior elements that were decorated with wild birds, landscapes, flowered motifs and even human figures, showing the Chinese influence. As a result of some brief research, I have determined that this lodge was constructed during 1859. Even so, the very wallpaper of the birch room on the second floor, where we met yesterday for our review of the works of Mr. Oscar Wilde, is nearly dominated by its chinoiserie designs. I have enjoyed a recent focus of my interests upon the mixture of chinoiserie with rococo that first developed in France. Hannah speaks at a Lake Chautauqua seminar, June 1893.
The thoughtful person will always view progress with great skepticism. Those of us who believe that we have chosen and developed our values with due consideration for sincerity and personal growth will mourn, even confront, the waves of progress that threaten to engulf our intellectual shores and which are accepted with such unquestioning ease by the masses. It is my contention that our values, especially those regarding individualism and intellectual freedom, now stand as mere islands that are in danger of being overwhelmed by a sea of untested ideas targeted toward increased convenience, instant communication of little meaning, and improvement of health that has the potential to increase the number of years of one's life but does not address the quality of that life. My favorite European author Oscar Wilde made his opinion of modern art most clear in his work, The Critic as Artist. He described modern works as being delightful to look at, in many cases, but as quite impossible to live with. He thought them to be too clever, too assertive, too intellectual, with the message being obvious and the technique closely prescribed. One exhausts what they have to say in a very short time, and then they become as tedious as one's relations, and so it is that progress may be of benefit to the human condition. However, it comes at the price of great loss of an individual's intellectual freedom to dream. Alessandro speaks at the World's Columbian Exposition, Chicago, August 1893. The Sparrow. Odell, how was your day at the candy factory? It was fine. I met my quota by 2:30 and made good money for the day. I was feeling well, and while I was chatting with Ruth and Margaret, a sparrow flew into the wrapping area from the outside. I was drawn to the plight of that sparrow for the rest of the day. I thought it so odd and unnatural for that bird to be in the noisy factory with us, and I just wanted the bird to find his way back out as soon as possible. His quitting time approached. I looked to see the sparrow. Just moments earlier it was perched high in the rafters, bewildered and frightened, I thought. But the sparrow was nowhere to be seen, and I don't know what happened to him. Dear, I have no work tomorrow and will be over to my sister's place for the day. I will appreciate you waiting at the station on your way home, as I will plan to arrive about 5:30. Sandro was somewhat disturbed by Hannah's sparrow story. Somehow he was receiving an ominous message that was not intended to be conveyed by her. The next day at 5:30 he was waiting for Hannah, but no train arrived with Hannah. Sandro lost Hannah to a train wreck on the 9th Avenue L, September 11, 1905. Several of the cars left the rails on the bend at 53rd Street, which is the connector between the 6th and 9th Avenue Ls. She was dead at the scene of the mishap, and 12 others were killed as well. Sandro was lost to a deep sense of shock and loss for nearly the entire year that followed. At that point he was able to recover his composure enough to continue living for the sake of their daughter and in the spirit of what he imagined would be Hannah's wishes for him. Sandro's last day was October 23, 1913. That morning his heart gave out and he passed away at 5:45 a.m. at age 68. He always passes away at 5:45 a.m. on the red date. Somewhere it is written that it will always be that way. He has written several pages of notes to himself regarding what to do and not do on the next part, hoping he will be able to improve the flow of events. He has placed those pages in a heavy metal box and has buried the box in the basement of the townhouse. He hired masons to cover those notes with several layers of concrete. On the next pass he may not remember those buried notes. He imagined what could happen if he does have a dream that reminds him to look for them. Will they be there? He can only hope that he can change certain critical events from his life as he knows it. He can only hope and pray that he can protect Hannah with that information. End.